we have been trying to extend this research, this insight, into several areas up until now fruitfully. And therefore, one of the first works that came out of the center in this area was about religion, where it was argued that a culture like India does not have any religion, and that such claims as Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, etc. exist in India, and that they are religions. It was suggested by one of the research products, or really and merely imaginary construction of the Western culture. That is to say, they do exist, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, yes, but they exist only in the universities of Western culture, where the students are taught and doctorates are given out. And that fundamentally, neither religion nor anything else, definitely not religion, is not something to be found in all cultures, and that India and Asia would be cultures without a religion. This is a controversial conclusion. We have been arguing it off and on in different fora, and we think the time has come to start testing out, to start working it out in the field of religion, and therefore we thought we shall organize a conference where this rethinking takes place in India, and in some senses because quite a lot of our research has been focused in India. This is the second actor, and this is the context of the Research Center for Vergelijkende Cultuurwetenschap. For the last 5 years, we have been working with Cultuurwetenschap University, which is a rural university. We discovered that that universities in cosmopolitan areas, I hope the Delhiites will forgive me, like Delhi University and Jawaharlal Nehru University, etc., have actually gone completely intellectually bankrupt. And that all they can do is to reproduce jargons which are mouthed in Paris, New York, the latest ones, of course, and they come and mouth it here. So it was our experience. I mean, some of my students came and studied in JNU for a year, 2 years, and I myself visited a number of universities. And I discovered that there was little to be gained in having interaction with young minds here because they were corrupt. Corrupted, if you like, by these fancy jargons of post-colonialism, postmodernism. So we went looking for minds which really quest and seek and thirst after knowledge. Because it is our belief that we do possess knowledge about human beings. The very fact that we can get along with each other is a proof of that. And therefore it is possible too to articulate this knowledge and put it on a sound basis and call it temporarily, for the sake of convenience, that a scientific knowledge. So in that sense, it is possible for us as human beings to develop knowledge about ourselves, about our fellow human beings, about the societies and cultures we live in, and the kind of religions we have. So Cultuurwetenschap University in Karnataka is one of the young and dynamic universities where people come directly from the villages, enter the university hardly knowing English language. But in them we found the minds that are required today to carry on this research for the next decades, if need be, and surely there is need for it. So we started working together with Cultuurwetenschap University and we're in the process of creating a research center which aims and hopes to reach a serious international stature, the Center for the Study of Local Cultures. That is the third actor in this conference. And for both these things, and here is one special mention need to be made, you just heard Professor Sherigara, the Vice Chancellor, coming and addressing us. You must know that he's a chemist by profession, a natural scientist by passion, an administrator out of necessity. But for someone who has done natural sciences, he is incredibly and extraordinarily positive, supportive, and he is in some senses the spiritual and material father, hopefully of the child, namely the Karnataka Academy of Social Sciences and Humanities. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you once again, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, for the extraordinary support you are giving us, you have given us so far, and I'm sure you'll continue to do so. Now, this is basically the context, to revitalize social sciences, to start rethinking about them, about the problems that are important, to provide serious and scientific answers to them. That is the general goal of these three actors, or to participate in that process. So rethinking religion, we want this conference basically to do what actually all conferences should do, but which almost no conference does in social sciences and humanities. That is where people who come here, who have done research and argue passionately, intellectually, in a solid way, and put across their standpoints and defend them, so that at the end of 3-4 days, we know not only where each one of us stands, but also what questions we need to answer if we have to carry the research forward. Now that is the idea of the conference that we have, and that's where we want to go. And for that, we have split up the conference into 3 constituents, 3 modules. One is the platform module, and there the idea over a period of 5 years, each platform would take up one particular question. And the question this year is, are there native religions in India? There are some people who argue there are no religions in India. There are some people who argue that British came, they constructed religion, and then it has then come into existence. Some people say it has been constructed, nobody quite knows how, what it means. And there are, of course, other people who tell the classical story that no, Hinduism always existed, not always perhaps, but definitely came into existence before the British or the Mughals or the Muslims. It is a native Indian construction. So the challenge, so we brought together people. There should have been one more speaker, Professor Russell Makichin, who is also a very active participant in the debate. He had agreed to come, and totally unforeseen personal reasons have kind of resulted in his withdrawal from the conference. But however, the platform session will be addressing itself to one single question: are there native religions in India? The answer will be either yes or no, or we will come up with the following position, namely that some number of the following questions need to be answered before we can answer the question properly. So the platform should lead us to some kind of an answer. It is not simply where one comes in, reads a paper, and then spends the rest of the evening walking around in Delhi. We expect the participants to participate for 3 full days and interact, and meaningfully interact. That's platform session. We have then the roundtable sessions. These roundtable sessions go also in, this takes place in plenary meeting. The roundtable sessions also occur in plenary sessions, and it consists of about 6 to 8 participants who will be picking up a theme, not a question, but a theme, and that theme will be picked up later on in the platform session of the subsequent years. So if you like, it prepares the ground for subsequent conferences. And there people come across around a theme, they put across certain ideas, certain arguments, and there'll be respondents. The same way there would also be respondents in the platform session. Then we have the much more classical module, the parallel paper sessions, where there are a number of papers will be presented in parallel across a number of groups. And even here, we have decided to focus on certain sets of questions which are absolutely crucial to answering, to rethink religion in India today. And these papers will, in their turn, hopefully, become the themes of a roundtable session, and some of them might even make it to the platform session. So in that sense, the locus and the focus of the conference will be on the platform and the roundtable, and we have the ancillary support of parallel paper sessions. We would like to do it for 5 years. We are sure we'll do it for 2 years. And after 2 years, depending on the responses, to see if it is successful, if it indeed generates intellectual discussions which are of some significance, then definitely the idea is to continue and finish the 5-year cluster. But if it transpires that this becomes just one more conference, one of the several that occur every year in the world, then I don't think you will hear from us after the 2nd year. So in some senses, the success or the failure of a conference like this, of a meeting of minds like this, depends on your goodwill, on your participation, on your understanding. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.